Up, Cock, we're going to review this weekend's games in the Championship, starting with Wrexham vs Coventry, which are on Friday night. And a big old shock, if I do say so myself. I thought Coventry would win. I feel like majority of people, anyway, even if you don't even follow football, you'd probably just look at this and know the difference at minute with what Coventry are compared to the rest of the Championship. And I don't want to sit here now and just completely go back on everything and say this has been coming. But in last couple of games, Coventry are conceding a lot of shots. I think they got away with it against Watford for the amount of chances that they were conceding. Portsmouth had a fair few against them. Wrexham were the better side in this game, and I didn't think I'd said that while Parker were in charge. Fairly even stats-wise, but second half especially, I do think that Wrexham really put it on them. Kiefer Moore got an hat-trick, and a perfect one at that, left, right, and an header. Windass were very good, all 3 assists. Like, them 2 up front, you can't now change this, is what I would say. It'd be a real downfall of Park if he does. He's changing his defence all the time. It changes so many of his players because they've got that many and it's such a big squad. You cannot now go into next game and drop either Windass or Moore, regardless of who they're even playing. I'm going to look now, actually. Because if you're playing like a Millwall and you don't want to just lump it into box to Portsmouth away, if you can play as good as these two did against Coventry, against best side in division, and you can be putting performances in that warrant top Championship status, if you then get dropped, what is that going to do for the mental side of this team? Because you're just going to think, well, there's literally nothing I can do to keep me into side, and he's just going to drop me anyway. Even if I turn into Maradona, he's going to drop me next week, so what's the point? He's got to have some sort of consistency, Parky, with his team selection. Otherwise, what's the point? Coventry on bit of absolute brilliance, like the ball from Sakamoto to Mason Clark, top draw. But Eyup never got going. To be fair, I just do think Wrexham were better side, start to finish, deserved a win. And looking at next few games for Cov, they've got some very difficult ones. Well, going into next year, some very, very difficult fixtures to end this year. So they are best side in division by a mile. 1 loss has not changed. That's the first one all season. But we're going to really see what the meta in this run up to New Year. This is a really tough run. Well, bloody hell. I don't know anything. Leicester 0, Blackburn 2. Again, I just did not see this coming. I said in the last 2 prediction videos I've done that I thought Blackburn would get hammered by Southampton, and then I thought Blackburn would get hammered by Leicester. Which, based on the recent results and the transfer window that they've had, and all Blackburn fans being simultaneously Ismail shit, and I must have been the only man that weren't on that sort of vibe. I just think the squad level is very low now compared to some at rest of the league. But I think looking at these results that they've been getting, and not being in a lot of games until these two, you're looking at it and thinking, well, they just are going to get tonked at some point, aren't you? Especially against the 2 sides that they've just beaten. Southampton, who, we'll come and look at them later because they've lost again. But for the most part, Southampton are a very good side. They're just not finishing the dinner. And they're poor in both boxes. But in all this middle ground here, they're very good, Southampton are. And Leicester, yes, they've fallen off a cliff, really, recently. But again, squad level, you just expect a certain thing. And for both of these wins that Blackburn have had, Blackburn are down here in terms of squad level, and both of these two are up here. So I think it's warranted to expect them to get hammered. But Ismail's a very good manager, and I don't want to see all Blackburn fans now switching up, oh my God, he's the messiah. He's dealing with a bunch of idiots. This squad is awful. After that transfer window, the squad that Blackburn have got is definitely bottom 3 worthy, 100% relegation fodder. So to get 2 wins out of Southampton and Leicester, parachute payment sides, squad's worth hundreds of millions, mate, that is outstanding. What a week that has been for Blackburn. And to be fair, 4 points off Leicester now, who not long ago were sat in and around here just cruising, to be honest. 3 losses in a row. It's still very early into the season, innit? So you're for a decent run together and you're anywhere. Such a good win. Norwich, he cannot survive. He can't survive. Now, I'm going to talk about the actual game itself in a sec. Regardless of what you think of that game and the fact that Norwich, as we will show, were the better side quite considerably. So Liam Manning cannot physically run onto the pitch and block a shot. He can't run onto the pitch and score a goal. His coaching wins. But if your performances and results look like this, you are a dead man walking, regardless of what the actual football itself is telling you. And I think the same applies to Will Still at Southampton, which we'll come and look at in a bit. Now, the actual stats show that Norwich absolutely dominated. 3 expected goals and no goals scored is criminal. Absolutely criminal. I think there's deeper rooted issues than just Liam Manning here. Because Sargent is not firing at the same level that he were. He's scored a couple of goals, to be fair. I think he's got 6 so far, something like that. But if you're sliding a ball across to somebody like Sargent for a sitter from 4 yards and he misses, there is something wrong. They've had so many clear-cut chances in this game. I'd love to see what the big chances are. I'd have thought it'd have been a lot more than that, just based off highlights alone. Because we were just addressing Blackburn, weren't we? And the fact that they're on 13 points now after 2 wins in a row. Portsmouth, Southampton, Sheffield United and Norwich. I don't think any of these 4 truly thought they were being a dogfight after 13 games. It is very early, still, definitely. But Norwich, I don't see how Manning can stay after something like this. I don't see how this is allowed. Because 6 losses in a row is crazy. No, winning 9 since Blackburn away. They've won 2 games all season in 13 games. This is horrendous. You can't get away with something like this. 8 points in 13 games. You are going down if you carry on like this. Really good win for Hull. I don't want to take it away from them because they've been in such good form recently. Hull have winning loads of games, scoring a lot of goals. Defensively, they've done well to come out of that unscathed, to be fair. But regardless of the fact that they should have won this because of Liam Manning, you cannot keep a job if you are losing the amount of games that Norwich are. And the amount of money that Norwich spend, regardless of the fact that they've probably not spent enough compared to sales that they bring in. They've spent a lot of money. They've got a lot of money on wages, on players. You've got to get a tune out at lads that you've got, or you're going to be at job centre. And how he even survived, I'm surprised he's still here after the Derby one. But to have lost to Swansea away and Hull at home, I'm so surprised he's still here. But when's his final straw next week? That he has got to win or he's getting, well, it's not going to be arsed, is he? Because he's going to get multiple millions payout. But there's just no way you can keep him. Norwich is so unserious if he stays for longer than this. Brum 4 pumping nil. Well, I didn't expect this. I expected a Birmingham win, but I didn't expect a Birmingham absolute onslaught. Especially in manner of goal that we're scoring, you know. They've absolutely dominated, start to finish. And to be fair, I'm surprised that Portsmouth had that much at ball. And it was through both halves as well. Because Portsmouth aren't a possession-based side. Birmingham are. And I've given Davies a bit of slack because recently Birmingham aren't getting the wins that they should be doing. I think that just obviously goes without saying. The money that they've spent and the squad that they've got and the expectation from Birmingham is definite top 6 with the manner that they come up and money as well. But they've not been winning the games that they should have been doing. I think they've been playing well, to be fair, but they don't look like they can win unless they've got 60% possession and 40 shots. Now, I don't know how this game's gone because I've not watched it, but for Portsmouth to have got more possession, when they're just middle at road for that, they're not a possession-hungry side, and Birmingham are, I'm not quite sure. But every goal, I think, well, the first 3 especially, that Stansfield missed a penalty, and then the sitter that followed it 4 seconds after that he scuffed and couldn't, like, sort his feet out in time. That was shocking. But good header from a set-piece, good from a set-piece, good from a set-piece, and then a deflected goal. 4 goals that you would not expect Birmingham to score. They're quite free-flowing in fluid football sometimes where they score the goals. So to score from 3 set pieces in a row, I'm liking the new age Birmingham. You've got to be able to score these type of goals. And it's where football's going anyway, isn't it? It's sort of looping back round on its end that everybody's doing long throw-ins now and lumping balls into the box, going for back post for header and laying it across. Just a lot of old school football is coming back, I feel like. And if Birmingham can get ahead on that quite quickly, with size of some of them players and all, and the expectation on delivery, because Birmingham have got personnel that a lot of other sides ain't got, some of the lads that they've got that can put a cross onto that stick, it's going to be pinpoint for this division. So they've got to use that, and they've done it well here. Really good win. Charlton 1-1. That's quite a good finish from Callum, to be fair. Poor defending, got to be said. Really good finish from Adam Ida and all on edge at box from Swansea. And I expected to come in here saying that well, Charlton only won for a start. I expected to come in thinking that Charlton had won game. But then when I saw result, before I'd watched highlights and seen stats and everything, when I just saw result, I was thinking, well, Charlton's probably put pressure on a little bit. But if anybody looked like they were going to win that game, it did look like it were going to be Swansea, which I didn't really expect. It's giving Preston a little bit from Charlton at minute, which is not an insult at all. Preston, mid-table championship side for years now, apart from last year, obviously. They're currently in 6th. Fantastic. If you can be compared to Preston these days, you're doing a good job. But what I mean by that is they're not losing games, and the other loss, to be fair, is against Preston, but they're not losing games. They're always in them, not conceding loads of goals. To be fair, they've not conceded more than 1, apart from the Preston one, since going back here to QPR, and that's, well, it's months ago now, isn't it? It's August. I do think games like this are ones that you've got to win or can't drop too many points in against mid-table sides like Swansea if you want to get into playoffs. But then we're just completely shifting goalposts on what success is for Charlton this season. We can't just look at them and think, well, 13 games in, they're in 8th. These should be chasing for playoffs because we're all lying. We're all sitting there lying if that is a true expectation of Charlton. If they'd have finished 4th bottom before a ball were kicked, every Charlton fan would have took it because it's a very strong league. The 2 that you've come up with have spent shitloads of money. You are statistically the worst side because you've come up from playoffs in League One. It's a very strong league. if you'd have finished 4th bottom, every Charlton fan would have snapped your hand off. So we can't sit here and think, oh, should we be changing it? Should we be thinking they should be winning stuff like this to get into playoffs? No! For both of these sides, we're placed that they're in at the minute, a point's all right. Smiles all around. They'll both take it. Ooh, you little dogs. I knew Oxford would get something with Rower. Manner that they did it in almost makes it funnier just because it is Gary Rower. 2 screamers and all. That from Brannigan is top class. And that's a really good finish and all, to be fair. Cooper at backstick. I think Kramer had shot from edge at box. I think a centre-back's had a shot from edge at box. And then a centre-back's followed it in when Cummings spilled it. Balloway, nice goal and all. Millwall did look the better side. To be fair, it has got to be said. Millwall did look like the better team. But with Gary Rowett coming up against his former side, Oxford were always going to get something from this game. This is still, I mean, it's a decent point for Oxford because you're going up against a super team here. But this is still a great point for Millwall. It is. You're looking at this weekend as a whole. You have got such a juju fixture here because of Rowett. So I do think before the game had started, a lot of Millwall fans would have taken a point here. Just because of the Gary Rowett aspect. When you now take a step back and look, out of the top 5, only one side has picked up more points than you, and you've got to draw away from home, so it's not bad anyway. But Coventry have lost, Middlesbrough have lost, Bristol City have lost, only Stoke have won, very convincingly. This is a great week for Millwall, even though they've only got a draw. I do think Oxford need to create a bit more in front of goal, because a lot of the goals still, I do think, are from edge at box, and just really nice finishes from edge anyway. I don't see loads of goals where Oxford are in box. To be fair, I think percentage of goals-wise, Oxford must be highest for goals outside at box. Surely, because they score so many from there. But honestly, decent point for both again. I think they'll both be happy here. QPR 1, Ipswich 4. Maybe slightly flattering to Ipswich. But again, who's asked? It's 2 free kicks from Nunes and Nunes. Deflected that second one, but that first one repeat. So 2 free kicks and 2 headers at backstick from Hurst. And Hurst, absolute cinema. I'm loving that just crosses into box and headers are coming back. Even in Championship and League One and honestly even further down, it felt like it were going out at game a little bit, set pieces and crosses and how important an header is. And it's coming back. And to have somebody like Hurst, it's just perfect, isn't it? You'd have put ball at this height for him and it's absolute cinema. Same as Keith Moore. If you play to these boys' strengths, they're going to score you some goals in this league. They're good strikers. I don't like Hurst because his dad's a cock. But decent striker. QPR have hit a bit of a roadblock here in the last few weeks. Again, really top form in the last couple of months. Well, it's this season so far. But last few weeks, losing at home to Millwall, Derby away, and then Ipswich at home. When going's got tough and you're playing some decent sides, they've fallen a little bit short in the last couple of weeks. Not end at world because, again, it's a decent start. The 13th. I think they're a bit of an outside flirt for playoffs. 2 wins in a row again. They need to find some consistency. And it's to be fair, it's another good week for them, obviously because of the win. But they're looking at this place, really, I think, Ipswich. They're looking at this one or this one. I feel like anything Stoke downwards is a failure for Ipswich, regardless of the strength of the league anyway. I feel like it's very level, top to bottom, apart from Coventry and Sheffield Wednesday so far. Every other position is quite close, and I think Ipswich are the best place to take advantage of that. They've got a game in hand, obviously, away at Blackburn that they should have lost anyway. But if they win that, the 6 points off top. And that's where everybody looking at Ipswich and thinking, well, they've not even done it yet. Across the full thing, these are a serious threat. Well, bloody hell, Sheffield United 1, Derby 3. Now, I said that I thought Derby would win, which were a hot take anyway. But for it to have won 3-1, it's not good, this. I'm telling you, it goes without saying because the third bottom Sheffield United. But it's not changing fast enough. I will touch on the only shining light at minute for Sheffield United, which I think if you've followed me for a while or you know my opinion on this fella, this is the last thing that I thought I'd ever say. Callum O'Hare is probably Sheffield United's best player at minute. I have never once rated the fella, ever. I think he just prances about doing naught. But this season, I think he's one of the only lads that looks half-assed. He has looked very good, to be honest, and you've got to give him props when it's there. But everything else, still, from a forward perspective, this has not changed. This has been a thing all season. Even when Wilder's come in, it's not changed. They are naff up front. They've got no going on. But speaking about, somebody like Hurst or Kiefer Moore or someone I always reference is Ollie McBurney, you play to your striker's strengths. You've got to. The best players, they do the most important thing, they put ball in back of that net. The most important thing, the only thing that truly matters in football, put ball in that net. And Sheffield United are not playing to the strengths of what their striker is. Why would you have Campbell running channels? You just want him stood smacking between posts, straight down centre at pitch. Why have him anywhere else? Why have him running out to touchline? It's stupid. And just compare that to somebody like Carlton Morris. Barnsley boy, hat-trick. Absolutely bob on. He is not sprinting here, there and everywhere. Second goal, to be fair, they've got Song on, haven't they? You know what song they nicked from Rotherham that they played before the game and at half time? It was still playing when Carlton Morris didn't keep her. But it's because he stood on last man at all times. He stood smacking middle at pitch. He's not running channels. He's doing what he's good at. Smacking middle at pitch, alt ball up, wrestle somebody. He's quite fast, to be fair. I think he can knock on for quite a big fella. He's obviously very strong and physical. Very good finisher. Top draw striker if you can play to the man's strengths. And I think the same would apply to Campbell as we saw last season. But Wilder is not doing it. And I don't know why. What a fantastic win that is for Derby, though. Like I said, I thought they'd win. Not to this level. I thought it'd be another 1-0. But a Carlton Morris hat-trick seals a 3-1 win away at Sheffield United, who are still bottom 3. The main thing from outside looking in, the main strength of Chris Wilder is the togetherness aspect. And that is not there. It's not there from last season. And I think a lot of sides are looking at Sheffield United and thinking, these will turn it round. We've got to sort of defend against these and maybe think they've got to break us up in a little bit, which they're obviously not doing because they're one of the lowest scorers in division. But I think people are showing Sheffield United too much respect. And it's hurting them because they're not good enough to warrant that respect that they're getting. People are looking at them as a top side, and they are evidently not. They're not going to go down. Like, I'm not going to change my mind just because of 2 crap losses in a row. But they might cut it fine. It's not going to be a case where they just sprint off up here. You know, a lot of Sheffield United fans, Jimmy, just thinks, oh, Wilder's in saviour's back, we're going to go up. I think in his last, 20-odd games that he's took charge of, they're a relegation side anyway. They were crap towards the back end of last season. They were crap for most of last season anyway, footballing-wise. But it's not just as easy as, oh, Wilder's back, he's one of his own, so that's that. We'll just get promoted now. No, I truly think I was right all along. I think they'll be 18th-ish, in and around there. They will stay up, but it's not going to be a case of them getting even remotely close at top 6, because they're miles off it. Good win for Derby, though. Just say that again. Oh, man. Southampton 0, Preston 2. Will Still chopping block comes to mind. Lewis Dobbin, to be fair, he actually took that quite well. On bounce. It were really nice finish, that. I feel, you know when I see footballers do stuff and I think, could I do that? I feel like I'd have just snapped my ankle if I'd have tried doing what Dobbin did there. And then 94th minute to seal the deal. Now, like I said, Southampton for the most part, for this season, have been the better side in the majority of games. They have won twice. So who gives the monkey ball? Nobody cares. No one cares if you're better side if you've got 2 wins in 13 games because you're 4th bottom. But this time, they got absolutely slapped start to finish. But Preston were better side. Again, from Preston's point of view, they're such a good team, man. It's got to be said. They're 6th now. Such a good start. And I'm not even going to reference the transfer window anymore because it's been that long. So it's pointless doing it anymore. But Eck is doing such a good job. Will Still is not. This is an anomaly, I do think, with Southampton and how they do play because they do dominate most of them. But you've been royally slapped by Preston. And Southampton's team is probably worth 10 times as much. Regardless of how you're actually playing, same as Manning as well with Norwich, you've got to get results out of what you've got in front of you. And if you're not, then you're getting sacked. Oh my God, honestly, some of these results. Stoke 5, Bristol City 1. I am going to cash in something that I've been saying for a while now. I have been saying for ages that Stoke are going to hammer somebody soon. It's been so obvious. The chances that these create are so good. To be fair, they did look like a Premier League side in this game. From the highlights that I've seen, Manowef is just brilliant anyway. But Mobama scored an hat-trick. This fella looks fantastic. He's only a youngin', isn't he? But, my God, he looked the bollocks in this game. He looks such a composed fella for what is a young kid. But the chances, man, this has been coming. I didn't think it would be in this game because Bristol City have looked really sharp and defensively they've been really good. They'd only conceded 11 in 12 games before this. So for Stoke to hammer them, I didn't really expect. But I can't say I'm overly surprised to see Stoke score this many in a game because it has definitely been coming. And this is for a team that is the best defensively in division anyway and have been creating chances that warrant a lot more goals than what they've actually scored. I think they've probably got best goal in division anyway in Johansson. He is top draw. But if you are one of the best defensive teams in division, you are going to be up there. I don't think you can say the same for other way around. Obviously, Coventry are a freak. But if you're top goal scorers in division, I don't think you're almost a given to be in top 6 anyway. Because if you're conceding that many... Barnsley are a really good example of this. We're always on at top goal scorers in League One. But because his defence is that shit, you're not a given for anything. If you've conceded 9 goals in 13 games, you've got best goalie in division, you've got probably best defensive structure in league, you've got a manager like Mark Robbins. If you've conceded the least in division, I would say 99% of time, you are going to finish in top 6. And Stoke are looking like a given to be that at minute. They are a very good team. Not to piss all over Bristol City's bonfire light, because they've only lost 1 in the last 4 and they'd won 3 before that. Top jaw. What a job Robbins is doing. And Struber, to be fair, because no one looked at these, regardless of Bristol City being in it last season, nobody looked at these and thought they'll be top 6. So, good start for both of them, but what a win that is for Stoke. And what a win that is and all for Watford. Why is it every week this guy just scores a really nice goal? It's not some absolute thunder bastard this week, which makes a change. The other two, though, bloody hell, we'll get onto them. To be fair, after I watched the highlights, I watched this one back because Loser absolutely spins Acne all the way. They're like pushing and ragging each other about from halfway line all the way through. Loser just makes a run late into the box for tapping, if you've not seen it. Well, not tapping, he takes it quite well. But he makes a late run into the box. And him and Acne are wrestling with each other for full run from halfway line to get into the box. And Loser just gives him little shimmy, little step back, a millisecond before balls come in, and timing it is Premier League standard. That's what it is. This is a Premier League footballer running around in midfield for Watford. He is such a good player. Easily one at best in this division. I think it goes without saying now. Definitely one of the best footballers in this league. But I feel like this is wrong. He did not score that. I think Doumbia scored the third one. That were a really nice finish, to be fair. But that were an absolute thunder bastard, and I'm convinced it was from Doumbia. I think this is wrong. Obviously, Middlesbrough have had a fantastic start. Like, definitely. The goals have definitely dried up. That, again, goes without saying. They've only scored 16 goals now in 13 games. Not enough, really. The defence does help them because, again, they were one of the best defensive records before this game. Obviously, Watford have put 3 past them, and they're very good goals, to be fair, all 3 from Watford. But I can't really understand the game plan from Rob Edwards to just constantly pump crosses in. Where is it? Are they even on here? I saw a stat and it were the crosses. 28 crosses into box against the defenders that Watford have got, which is Pollock and this Keben guy. Just 2 absolute monsters. I'm not understanding game plan, but what a win that is for Watford. And then West Brom, Sheffield Wednesday, I couldn't care less. And then I look at the table. You've got Wednesday, who are still bottom, obviously. That won't change. I should have put it at the bottom of every video, showing us 24 Sheffield Wednesday, so I don't have to talk about it anymore. Norwich 23rd. Really crap from Manning, and Sheffield United is still in there as well, with Southampton and Portsmouth just straddling above. 2 wins in a row for Blackburn. Sees them on 13 points, so they're still in it. But really impressive couple of weeks for them. Derby look like they're pulling away from it with 3 wins in a row. Leicester 3 losses in a row, though, season down to 14th. That is shocking. West Brom 1 winning 5 down to 12th and all. Mason's in trouble, I'm telling you. Ipswich are looking better as well, up to 9th, but still not a single parachute payment in top 8, which is Charlton and Hull outside, with Preston, Bristol City, Millwall and Stoke in playoffs. God, that'd be a great playoff start. And Middlesbrough 2nd and Coventry still top, despite both losing this weekend. Very open league. But boys and girls, it's been an absolute pleasure. Love you all. Kiss, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe if you do enjoy, and I'll see you in a bit. Goodbye.
Say I'm a man, yes, I'm a mucker. I think of me saying as a right good looker. I say up that. Show us bit it.